Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the milestone of the day,
Woo,
episode 50 of the Bird
Let's
Boys
go.
podcast.
Yeah.
It's we've been doing this for I don't know, a year and a half now. Jay
Yeah.
Green?
Yeah,
Somewhere around there?
November. Yeah, around November. Yeah,
2020, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, episode 50, we got an awesome guest that's
Yeah.
going to be joining us in a few minutes. My name is Mike Lennon. I'm with Jeremy Greenwood, Matt Lennon, and Chris Rosholt. Weekend recaps. Let's start with Mr. Greenwood, the birthday guy.
I had
Hey.
I definitely had a feeling that you were going to come my way first here, but yeah, I got a new mic here, guys. I know you pretty excited to test it out here, but I had a pretty good birthday weekend. I know that RWD. I didn't end up going up to RWD to Hayward Ashland, but I did end up getting to see Mike, which was nice. Stopped at Hobbs and Eau Claire to watch his team play. I was out with a lady friend, and we went on a date, and it went pretty good. And other than that, today I had some family over. That's when I got this mic, and it's always nice to see the nieces and nephews, and other than that, I did not watch the Pro Bowl today because it looked absolutely miserable.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll get to that though. Yep.
Chris, how are things out in Colorado?
Yeah, not bad. Was a crazy week. To be honest with you, some things that I've never experienced in my life happened. So my school district is, what do we have? 11 high schools times 2 probably middle schools, tons of elementary schools.
God,
There's
bizarre.
I think there's 250,000 students in our school district, something like that. And our last superintendent just up and quit, just left. But it was something happened where he's still getting paid. Well, our new superintendent was a principal in our school district, has been a teacher in the school district. He's been in the district for like 25 years. Everyone loves him. Teachers love him. He's a great dude. He was a superintendent for the last year and a half. And in this last November, 4 members of the school board got voted on that have, we'll just say, different views from the rest of the school board and the superintendent. And so those 4 individuals actually fired our superintendent this week. And so we actually had so many teachers call in sick in protest that we didn't have school on. We had a snow day Wednesday and we didn't have school Thursday because of protests. And it's crazy. It's not a good situation. It's something that I'd never thought I would have to experience or deal with. But here we are. So I had that going on this week. And so I needed some R&R this weekend. And so yesterday, me and Cash Money just hung out at the house all day. Did a couple little house projects, kind of got ourselves organized a little bit.
Again, I saw.
Yep, that's our ritual. That's our ritual on Saturdays. We go to the gym.
Did you get the usual? Did you get the usual?
Nope,
Triple cheeseburger.
I got cheese curds instead of fries this time, so I curveballed it a little bit.
It's a lot of cheese, dude.
And no, we go to the gym on Saturdays in the morning, usually around 9-10, and then after the gym, we go right to Culver's and then home and just kind of hung out. And then same thing today. Went to the gym in the morning.
Culver's?
Home? Nope. We got brunch this time. We got breakfast at a little brunch place.
Okay.
And then just been home the rest of the day. But it's been good because this week was crazy to say the least. Just because with the power of everything out here and superintendents and school boards and stuff, like, you know, that's my future salary. That's my future insurance. That's my future retirement. And so it's kind of nerve-wracking the direction that things are headed. And so I'm just hoping for the best. So crazy week, but relaxing weekend, and now recharging and ready to go on Monday.
Yeah.
All right, Matt Lennon, tell us about your adventure south of Greensburg last night.
Yeah. So, well, I went home Saturday morning, and the Brady Beth, who helped me put in my floor last weekend, went to his house to learn how to put in flooring on the steps because that's what we'll be ending up doing in a couple weeks here. So helped him out a little. Well, I mean, I wasn't.
So hold up, sorry. So he just, what do you mean learned how to put in? He just took off the carpet in his room.
No,
or in his house.
So they built their house. God, was it last year or 2 years ago? They completely built their house, and they have an unfinished basement.
Okay,
and so they are. Yeah, they're starting to work their way down. So yeah, I kind of watched.
You might have to make a profession out of this when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, so did that, and then we
carpentry.
Yeah.
Where did this lead to?
This led to first the town of LaRue. For those listeners, we were hoping to check out the local watering hole there, but it's actually closed, which I did not know. So then we were kind of looking because backstory, how this all started was Brady was like, "Have you ever heard of the town Denzer?" I was like, "Man, that sounds like super familiar. I think that's like by Leland LaRue, Rosh's land. Yep, like where our mom grew up." And he's like, "Man, I guarantee there's a bunch of little towny bars around there. We should hit them up." I was like, "Sounds good to me." And so, went to LaRue. Bar was closed. Then we actually went to North Freedom. Don't know the bar there. Don't remember what it was called.
Sounds good to me.
And then headed to Denzer. I believe, if I remember correctly, that bar was called the Ugly Coyote.
Oh,
I could be wrong. Could be wrong there. There was about 6 people in there.
Help us out in the comments if anybody knows.
Yeah. And then we headed to Leland. Checked out. There's 2 bars across the street. God, what was the first?
Uncle Dean should chime in.
Yeah, he's got to come in here. He knows all of these. So went to that first bar, and then went across the street to Sprecker's. Same thing, and we actually got a little tour at Sprecker's of a bunch of historical things that this lady had. Yeah, and so got a little tour of what she was hiding back there, and and then today just drove home and watched a lot of Netflix. Watched. We were gonna start 1865, but I think you got to pay for it on Amazon Prime.
No,
could be wrong. Really?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to dig maybe a little more into that. But just watched some Netflix shows today, and here we are.
Right on. Well, my weekend wasn't quite like that at all.
Shelter bar.
There you go. Northland College hockey. We had 2 games at Eau Claire Friday and Saturday night. We drove back and forth because it's a little over 2 hours. Was really excited to watch. I got to watch a period of the RWD Ashland game, which was pretty cool. We played last night again. Had two good games that we ended up losing, but we're probably going to see them again in playoffs in a couple weeks here. So I feel like we match up pretty well with them, which is good. So today did not do much of anything at all. Did a little shoveling, and that's about it. So without further ado, let's bring them on. We have Dylan Brown.
How we doing, guys?
Hey, Dylan.
Good.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, how's so are you in a dorm room, or what do you got going on up at school right now?
We got an apartment complex actually, and this year we actually have 9 of our 11 guys actually living in the same place, so it's pretty sweet.
Awesome.
Nice.
There are three different units inside each one, so 3 guys are in each place, but we're all in the same place, so it's kind of fun. It kind of makes it fun on weekends, easy to hang out and watch sports games and everything. So.
For sure.
100%.
So maybe just start off just talking a little bit background. Obviously, talk family and stuff like that, and kind of where you're at right now.
So family wise, parents are Jim and Christy Brown. Brother Jordan, he's 3 years older than me. He's down in Madison now, 24. And then I got a younger sister too, Kelly. She's in high school, junior. So that's in the family. Right now, I'm in my 4th year at Winona State. I'm studying finance and MIS, just picking up a double major, and then I'm going to be going an extra year because we got an extra year because of COVID. So I'm going to use that up for next year. So I'll be here for 5 full years.
Very nice.
And you're playing golf, correct?
Yep, on the golf team here. Yep.
Nice.
So Dylan,
I also used to play club hockey for 2 years.
Nice.
I just went to the club fair my freshman year and, found out there was a club team. So I thought I'd join it. I just ended up stopping doing it just because it got to be kind of a lot with golf, because golf's kind of, it's almost year round. We play fall, spring, and in the winters, it's kind of nice not to have to travel anymore because we're traveling all over the United States the whole season for golf. So, it's kind of nice to have some weekends to yourself and catch up on school and stuff. So I just decided it was kind of good to be done with that after my second year.
So for those of you that are that have been tuning in, this is actually our 3rd Winona State. Yeah. We have one alum, and then obviously we had Anna. Is it Kreisky?
Kreisky, yeah.
Kreisky, yeah. But just talk to us a little bit, like why Winona? Like what made you, really kind of set your eyes on that, and why you wanted to end up going there?
Yep. So being a pretty easy ordeal to end up here. I was kind of late to the recruiting process for golf just because I was a lot more interested in playing hockey throughout my senior year and throughout high school in general. But, I was kind of late to the call. So most of the coaches had already contacted me for golf. I had told them I wasn't even planning to play golf. So I was kind of like off on most of them. So this ended up being one of my late opportunities. It was in the summer before I even committed here. I talked to a couple other schools, mostly Edgewood was the other one. I was pretty interested in going there, but this was just a great group of guys, great coach, great opportunity. So I just thought it was almost a no-brainer to come here once I decided I wanted to golf instead of hockey.
Yeah, and I guess talk about that a little bit, Dylan, and that might be a good segue into what's next. What obviously, you and I were pretty close when you were in high school, as a coach on the staff and a younger coach at the time. But I know that the decision for you to play golf over hockey wasn't an easy one at all, because you were a very talented hockey player. And I guess kind of talk about that transition decision and how come you chose golf, I guess.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult. And, it was one of those things I thought I was never really going to regret at the time. But then all of a sudden the snow hits every year and I see all my friends skating and stuff. And then, I wish I would end up playing hockey. But, obviously once I dove into golf and, wasn't working out as much and got a little bigger, it was a little too late to ever think about going back to playing hockey anymore. So. But I don't know. Overall, there's a lot of people, trying to sway me one way or the other. And I was a lot better at hockey for sure than golf, but I just kind of got wore down of it. I played almost year round every year, so golf was like kind of a fresh thing because I didn't start golf until I was a freshman in high school. Actually,
really,
kind of fresh. Yeah. I played baseball my whole life until freshman year. I transferred over to golf. So
Okay. Well, that would make sense.
It kind of ended up being an easy decision.
That's crazy
in a sense, but
okay.
But
well,
sure
that's gonna
at the same time.
That's gonna kind of lead us into kind of our next topic here. Obviously, you had an absolutely phenomenal career, with RWD hockey. Most points, team history. I believe it was your freshman or sophomore year. You guys made that state run. You got to play with your brother as well. Just talk to us. Maybe just share some of the memories, I guess, you had playing hockey for RWD.
Yeah, every year was good. We had a great group of guys every year, a bunch of phenomenal coaches. Coaches were always preparing us to play each game. We felt like we were going to win every game because we couldn't be much more prepared. I feel like the culture there is just unbelievable. It's unmatched with Neil Welch and yourself, Jeremy. It's just a winning mindset. It doesn't really seem like it matters at talent level. It's just everybody knows how to win. So freshman year was definitely probably my favorite year, just to be able to play with my brother.
Yeah,
that was it was something pretty special to be able to diagnose the film and stuff and be able to like do that at our house and game plan that way. It was pretty cool.
So let me take you. Sorry to interrupt you, Dylan. I just want to take the fans. Well, you mentioned your brother, and you mentioned your freshman year, and you guys went to state, and you got a heavy senior class. Jordan Brown, Jordan Bill, Andrew Schulenberg, Austin Shavank. Just really good seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And I want the fans to think, okay, you got all these seniors, line 1, line 2, and then right out the gates, here's this little, how big were you at the time, Dylan, would you say?
I bet I was probably maybe 130 pounds wringing wet, if that.
130 pounds.
I was tiny. I was a real,
let me know
small kid.
Yeah, you were unbelievably small, but like 30 seconds in was, I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong on this, Dylan. You score a goal.
It was like 30-some seconds. I honestly didn't know for probably a year that it was that quick because I was, as you could imagine, about as nervous as you could ever possibly dream of being.
From there on out,
I don't even think I knew I scored the goal when I scored.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, but from there on out, everybody knew who you were from there on out. And so like, it's just amazing how you made a name for yourself so quick, and people could say, "Oh, yeah, you played with a lot of good seniors, a lot of good talent around you." But I think you were just a really talented freshman as well, and just wanted to kind of paint that picture for our audience, I guess. So,
yeah, for sure, it helped a lot. I think that freshman year, kind of paved the way for the rest of my time in high school. Just playing with 2 seniors is as good as my brother and Jordan Bill were, and even I played a little bit with Andrew Schulenberg. Just learning from them in practice every day, and their work habits and everything. It just made everything easier from then on.
So, Dylan, I'm a little curious on like the golf side of things. So, your freshman year was your first ever kind of real time playing competitive golf. Like how was that?
Yeah, it was pretty scary. You hardly even know the rules right away. I was probably almost borderline cheating because you just didn't even know how to properly drop a ball if you hit it in the water or something. Because you go play with your parents when you're just playing. You hit one out of bounds, you just drop one in the middle of the fairway and say you're hitting your next shot. Nobody really cares, but I mean,
or 2 or 3 balls.
It takes you. Yeah, it takes you just
Jeremy
drop
or 4 or 5.
Not even ever care.
Yeah,
but I hear you. Just to get the rules down, and I mean that took almost a full year just to even learn all the rules. There's so many. I still don't even know all of them. Playing as much as I do now.
So correct me if I'm. So your senior, was it your senior year you made it to state for golf as well? Was there another year?
No, I actually never made it my senior year. I made it as a sophomore and junior.
Okay.
I missed by 1 shot my senior year, so that was kind of heartbreaking.
Talk to us about that experience as well, because I know obviously the state tournament's at a pretty cool spot.
Yeah, it's at University Ridge, the Badgers course. So I don't know. It's kind of tough to make it to state when our team was not good enough to go as a team. There's a lot of good players are on really good teams, so their team goes and they play in the individual part that way. But our team was just never really talented enough to make it as a team. So you're going out there as an individual, basically knowing you have to shoot 72 or better on one 18-hole round, and you just have an average day, and you're just not going to go to state. So I would say I kind of got benefited my sophomore year. I wouldn't say I was probably like a person who would have been looked at to be going to state, but then it came back around my senior year. I was probably like one of the favorites to go out of our section and didn't go. So you just kind of never know. That's just how golf goes.
Favorite course you've ever played? Go.
Favorite course? I'm going to go with probably Whistling Straits. I played it this last summer. You really can't beat that.
Yeah.
So all those par 3s and holes in the water, it's just unbelievable. I mean, you can't even look at pictures. It's just crazy once you're actually there.
So it's a little bit better than Jay Green's favorite. Isn't yours Pirates Cove, Jay Green?
Yeah, we got jokes over there in Denver, huh, Raj?
Dylan, I want you to talk. Like, I know we're hammering the golf a little bit here, but I'm obviously a pretty big golf guy myself. But so you play in or last summer I think it was, you played in the WSGA. Was it the State Am?
Yeah, that was my second time playing in that. That's just that's the biggest amateur tournament every summer. It's a pretty cool one to be in there.
Yeah, and there's some big time players that play in that, correct?
Yeah, I'd say all the best people that aren't pros in the state. You got all the top D1 golfers and stuff. So talent level is just incredible.
Yeah, where was it at last year?
This last year it was at a private course in Milwaukee called Westmore.
Okay.
Just, most people don't even hear of it just because it's so private. You can't just go play anytime you want. So a lot of people don't know about it, but the course is unbelievable.
So talk to us a little bit about like a day in the life. Obviously, I know you guys are probably ramping things up, getting ready for your spring season right now. Just kind of talk to us a little bit, like what's it like being, a Division II golfer at Winona State?
We usually are up pretty early working out. We do 6:30 workouts. A lot of people wouldn't even think we would work out because it's like, why do you need to work out for golf? But it's still good to do, getting good shape. So we go from that to class usually for 3-4 hours in a day, and then right now we do a lot of work in our indoor facility. We got great putting green, just a turf putting green. And then we got 3 different hitting bays with launch monitors and stuff. So
that's unreal.
You can hit range balls on there. You can play courses from all over. So it's pretty good little gig we got going.
And what conference? Like, what other schools are in your guys' conference?
Minnesota Duluth, Minnesota State Mankato, Minot State, Bemidji State, St. Cloud. A lot of them are known for their D1 hockey team. It's actually crazy that a lot of teams in our conference are actually some of the top teams in Division I hockey.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool to see that.
So I want to just gonna go back to hockey just real quick, and I'm gonna paint another picture. You guys can call me Bob Ross today.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Senior year, okay. I go to the senior awards banquet in Madison with Dylan. I want to say it was your dad or your mom, and Coach Welch and Neil, and Dylan was up for player of the year for the state of Wisconsin, and he didn't get it. And I'm gonna tell you right now that you're not gonna find somebody that feels like you were hosed more than me, because the guy that got it, was a really good player. Jack Gorniak plays for the Badgers right now. Okay, nothing special. I seriously think that you were a lot better. I think we played a lot better teams, tougher schedule. And I also think that your senior year, not to knock the talent around you, but he may have had a little bit more to work with than you did, and you did more with less. And so I'm curious, like, how you feel about that now versus back then, if that's something you even think about at all, and as well as do you still play hockey at all, or is just the alumni stuff kind of what you do now?
So, I mean, I would say it kind of felt like I got hosed in a sense, but I started to kind of understand. The award is supposed to be the player of the year, so I mean, you'd think it's just more of who had the best year that year, but I see it as more of kind of like the political aspect of, he's going to the Badgers, so obviously he's better, so he's going to get the award before I would. I think they kind of just disregard all the other stuff. I don't think they, because looking back at it, it's usually just, if guys committed to the Badgers, they basically win the award every year. It seems like, in a sense. That. So I mean, it kind of hurt right away, but I would say after that year. After the year was over, I didn't really.
Well, I mean, you had more points than him. You had more points than him, but yeah, and I feel like you're definitely the type of guy that does, like, okay, on to the next day. This day's over with. And so I can respect that.
Yeah, I'd say it kind of hurt for a week, but after that, it's kind of done. But.
So, and we'll make the announcement. I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's just something that, like, it bothers me because I feel like it took away from the success that you had. And nothing more than that. No ill feelings towards Jack or anything. He's going to go on and play even more hockey, and he's going to be successful doing that. But I guess for public knowledge, and Dylan, it sounds like your jersey is going to get retired next year. We don't know the game or the date yet. We'll definitely make that public, but we all wanted to offer you congratulations to that. You'll be the second one in Reedsburg history to have that accomplishment, Mike being the first. And so it's just really cool, and we're happy to be able to kind of officially announce that here. So
yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just found out this week, and I was absolutely stoked. I was, kind of shocked that I would be getting that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I know Neil's really excited to be able to do that with you, and Mike and Mike wants to make sure he's at the game too. So we'll keep everybody in touch with that. But I guess, Mike, did you want to move on to a little more of the Reedsburg stuff, or what?
Yeah, a few more things. So we have everybody on here, and it's a good debate. So favorite, it doesn't have to be high school. Favorite teacher you had growing up?
Favorite teacher, I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna go with Mark Simon, Mr. Simon.
Ooh,
okay,
yes,
I like
previous guest of you guys.
Yeah,
I just love some of his quotes. He'd always say, two of them are just ingrained in my head still to this day. Or he'd always just say I swear once to me every class, he'd say, just be a good guy. That's all you got to do. I think he says that every year to all of his kids. He just absolutely loves it. And I don't know, he just brought energy to class every day. And part of the reason why we got along really good was just talking about sports. I love to talk about, he'd talk to me about hockey, basketball, anything. So it was pretty good to have him.
There's also a plethora of places to go out to eat in Reedsburg, but favorite place?
Favorite place to eat?
Favorite place to go have a nice meal?
Nice meal. I would say probably Jay's Pub. I'd have to go with for that one.
Okay. Very nice.
Pretty close to home too, so it's a pretty good little trip. We just go, it's right next to the hockey rink, so.
Yeah, it's actually really nice that you bring that up, Dylan, because we're hoping to get Jason Pettit on here, the owner, soon on the Break Boys. So, that's awesome. You guys got any other questions, or?
No, my final one. Obviously, you already talked about it a little bit, going back for another year, but plans after graduation. Kind of what you see your future entails.
I don't know for sure on a job, but I would say I kind of want to settle down. If it's not around Reedsburg, I would say either probably Madison area or the cities area. I would say I'd be the two spots I don't want to end up at.
Okay. What job specifically, Dylan, do you have in mind?
I don't know. I haven't really kind of dwindled it down yet, so I don't know. I'll just kind of stay up in the air and see what works. So
try a few things out, see how it goes, and
yeah, exactly. I'm not just like going in with looking for one specific job.
Well, cool, man.
All righty. Well, Dylan, we really appreciate it. We might have to get you on after the season is done to let us know how everything went, but really appreciate it. Best of luck with the season. And we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. Thanks, Dylan. Nice seeing you, buddy.
Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me, guys. See ya.
All righty.
Cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever talked to him.
Yeah.
I've never talked to him.
Which is kind of nuts, Mike. I mean, that's kind of nuts, isn't it? Like, just to think you two were just really good hockey players for the same city, grew up in the same city, been around the same people. It's just kind of nuts. It's kind of.
Matt, didn't you work for his dad for a few weeks or something?
I did in the winter. Yeah,
I got canned by him.
Yeah, did you?
He canned me.
Oh, I loved working for him.
Bring Dylan back on.
Yeah,
we should have talked about that.
Matt, were you on staff when we coached against Dylan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I was.
Because we played against him. I remember we played against RWD the first game after he came back from breaking his wrist or something.
Yeah, and I believe if I remember
at the Cheeseburger Classic.
That first line was Bill Brown, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Pretty damn good first line.
And I'm pretty sure Dylan scored the game winner in the third period against us too, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Does not surprise me.
What number was he in high school?
28.
Nice.
And even a little breaking news on the Berg Boys.
Yep. First heard here.
How about that?
How about that?
Yeah, so Logan DeMar's his dad, Matt, just mentioned, Logan that'll be the last year wearing it next year. And so it's pretty cool. And we'll be able to do the same thing we did for you, Mike, and get him a retired jersey to put in his home, and hopefully find a spot up at Racca for him and a little tribute to him. So
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, shall we move on? Matt, let's give us are you ready for a little Badger update here?
Yeah. Just start with the usual, probably the best one of the best teams in the Badgers program right now. Men's basketball is ranked 11th. They kind of got shellacked around Wednesday night. They lost 80-67 versus the Illini, who is Illinois Illini, but they're in first. Kofi Cockburn, I believe that's how you say his name.
Yep.
He had dropped 37 points. And he is the big man for the Illini. He is an absolute animal. I believe right now, I think him and Johnny Davis are kind of the two front runners for National Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think Cockburn's going to be a big draft prospect too, isn't he?
Yeah, big boy. And then won 51-49 yesterday versus Penn State. Just a classic Big Ten matchup there. I believe at half, I think they were
13.
It was even like 50 points at half, I believe. Tyler Wall had the game-winning layup with 31 seconds left. So obviously nice to get bounce back win there. Tuesday they got a big one at number 13 Michigan State. That's obviously the rematch. We just got beat by them I think it was last week, if I remember correctly, or 2 weeks. And they play Saturday at home versus Rutgers at 1. And right now they're currently 1 game out of first. So big week ahead for the Badger basketball team. Men's hockey lost 4-3 in overtime versus Ohio State Friday night, and lost 6-2 Saturday night. And little funny, since we were talking about the bars I was at, I was actually watching it at the Shelter Bar in Leland, and a guy sitting there goes, "What happened to the old Badger hockey?" And I said, "Man, I have no idea."
You should have said Mike's favorite, Tony Granato.
Yeah, I should have. And then Thursday, Friday, they're playing Notre Dame. And
the guy in Leland says that one.
And that game is actually being played. Those 2 games are playing at the Alliant Energy on a stadium. Alliant Energy versus Notre Dame Thursday, Friday night.
This weekend?
Yes. I don't know why, but yeah.
Interesting.
No, I don't know if they try to maybe do it once a year or something. I don't know. Women's hockey ranked 4th. They lost 3 rip Friday night to number 5 UMD, but then they had a big bounce back win 5-1 Saturday against the same team. Saturday, Sunday, they play Minnesota State. And women's basketball picked up another win today versus the Illinois Illini. So it seems like that coach is the right fit there, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think they only had 2 wins last year, and I think they have 7 this year. So, and hopefully trending up.
Yeah.
So side, I know we don't have this on our itinerary, but it just got me thinking. I think Mike mentioned something about this before, but Mike, I got to ask you. And it wasn't Granato because it happened towards the end of.
Hold on here. So Anna said they are playing at the Coast Center, just sponsored by Alliant Energy.
There we go.
There you go.
So I just
saw
that.
Do you think the conference change has had an impact on Wisconsin downfall? Because that was about the same time that we started trending downwards as when we got switched to the Big Ten for hockey.
That's true.
Opposed to what was it, the W whatever. Yeah.
So,
and also too, quick note,
talk about this forever. Go
like
ahead.
if you look at the stadium in there, it is like empty.
It's empty. And I remember,
who wants to watch?
you guys all remember it was like a privilege when you got to go to a Badger game because it was
100%.
packed and the student section was loud and it was awesome. Now the only time I see a packed stadium is when we play Minnesota.
Yep.
Like that's it. That's the only time.
Couple factors as far as like the crowd. I'm sure the Badger basketball has a little bit of that, but obviously we've been down for a little bit. COVID is obviously still going on as well, but
yeah,
where it's I'm not exactly sure if it's the switch to the Big Ten is the reason why, but it is. In my opinion, it is the difference of us going after a 20-year-old from Canada or where from the USHL wherever. We're committing these kids when they're 14, 15 years old. We're getting them when they're 17, 18 years old. They're here for a year or two, and then they're gone. If you go back and really look at the winners of the last couple national championships, some of the top programs in the country, yes, those kids maybe are committing when they're 15, 16 years old, but they're playing junior, like they're not coming right out of high school, into the Badgers, or coming in at a very young age. And if you go back to look at when the Badgers had Burish, Robbie Earl, Drewski, goalie, played in
Elliott?
the NHL, Elliott, Shane Conley, who was after that, like those guys were all older, and that would be my 2 cents. And you even have like look at UMD, prime example. Okay, Minnesota Duluth. They're typically, those kids are coming in when they're 19, 20 years old, or 21. They're freshmen. By the time they're juniors and seniors, they're 25, 24, 25-year-old men going up against 17, 18-year-old players. Where I mean, UMD's made it they've won 3 national championships in the last, however, 2 or 3 national championships. They made it to the national championship game last year. Like, so I think that's really like the difference. Like, and obviously, like, basketball is a completely different story. Like a team like Kentucky can do that type of thing.
Yeah.
Where I just am not sold on like that really working with hockey yet.
So is that a coaching thing? Are the coaches choosing to recruit that way? Is it just Wisconsin? Is it everyone doing that?
It's not, because you have like a Minnesota, right? And Minnesota is starting to tweak their recruiting a little bit as well. Like last year, I think they committed a 20-year-old out of Saskatchewan. Like, that's unheard of. But like, they're getting they want to maybe sprinkle in a couple of those older guys that are going to be there for 4 years, rather than a 17, 18-year-old that's maybe going to be there a year, 2, if that. Like, you know what I mean? So I think
I see what you're saying.
I think that's really the big difference, and it hasn't worked yet for Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, and that makes sense. I mean, you look at our men's basketball program. We don't send a whole lot of guys early to the NBA, but
not really.
But on the flip side, they're almost always competitive.
Yeah.
You know, we're always usually in the top 25 every single year, but that's because of that same thing. Like Mike said, you got those 22-year-olds that have been in the program for 3 years. They're experienced. They've been through it. They've done it. And then you mix that in with a couple of the young cats, and you got a nice little blend there. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good point.
You live and die off it too. Like where Eves was really successful, if you guys remember, he would go after Wisconsin players. He would try and Osiki was his head assistant, but he would make it a goal. Like, if you're a top player in Wisconsin, like, you're not going to Minnesota, you're not going to Ohio State.
Besides Phil Kessel.
Yeah, you're not going.
That was big drama. I remember that.
The heck with that
guy. You are coming to Wisconsin and going to help us compete for a national championship.
No, that's a good point.
Now we got these kids that are committing 14, 15-year-old. They're playing for Chicago Mission. They're playing for whoever, and then we get them for a year or two.
And I think that helps with fan base too when you get local kids
100%
on your team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to watch the Badgers and you're like, who's this dude? Oh, he's from Russia. Oh, okay. You know, or if you go and you're like, oh, this dude's from West Salem, it's like, oh, sweet. You know, you're going to get a little bit more excitement from the local fan base too.
But you live and die off that too.
Yeah.
So like, if you want to go all in on this really good player, like, it's a risk reward thing. Like, we might only have him for 1 year.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Cole Caulfield.
Yeah.
Alex Turcotte, we only had him for 1 year, and he just made the NHL like a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What about Olympics? Have you guys? I'm going to be honest, I haven't tuned in at all. Have you guys been watching it all? I just saw a thing that came out. It's like viewership is like not at an all-time low, but it's low right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think people are concentrated on so many different things right now in the world that, like, I mean, I'm interested in the hockey scores. I'm interested in, like, Sean White, you know, and like how he does, because this is his last His last goal.
He's still ripping, huh?
The time zone doesn't help out either.
No, right. And that's tough. That's tough. I mean, I'll be checking the medal count. You know, if I see it on TV, I don't mind watching it. Like, it's almost like the type of thing where like you're either really not interested in what's the event is, or you are. There's not really an in between there.
No, I agree with that. I watch solely based on the event. Like if I flip on the Olympics and it's like, no offense if there's cross country skiers out there, but if it's like one of those long, like
if they're shooting the
but they're
that's cool. That's cool.
But they're like cross country skiing for like 3 miles in between, and you're like, but like the big air, like where those people are just flying on skis. It's just like unbelievable to watch that stuff. And you know, like curling's not very exciting, but that curling team is from McFarland, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
I saw. I don't know. Did we send in the group text where it said it looks like 4 dads just got bored and made the Olympics because like the 4 guys literally just they're just dads. Like they just got dad bods, mustache. Like it's crazy. But like I'm an event watcher. Like I'm not necessarily like obviously I want the U.S. to win. I'm going to cheer for the U.S. But I like watching events more than I like specifically just trying to watch the USA stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest too. It sucks that
that's a huge
men's hockey's still going on, but it's like when you got the type of players that are typically over there and they're not there, like that's just I don't know. But women's
hockey.
Oh yeah. I'll be tuning in. I'll be tuning in.
Oh, that
so
Canada versus US.
Let's take away hockey. What's your guys' favorite event to watch in the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, probably the half pipe with the snowboarding.
Half pipe.
This is gonna sound. I kind of like the figure skating. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Cool. That's not bad. No, I'm
talented. They're talented individuals.
Like especially when the guys like chucking the girl way up there like that, and she's going. Ooh.
I like both of those, and then I like that. I like that big air skiing thing where they just launch up in the air and they're just flying forever. That one's sweet. Yeah.
There's actually a little fun nugget there. There is actually a jump like that in Westby, Wisconsin. They actually hold like huge events. Like people from across the world come there. I do. I actually did 2 weeks ago. They had their event, and I delivered, I believe, 90 cases of beer there.
Hopefully they're not drinking that before they jump.
Yeah, hopefully that was after the jump.
You might have to get that in some people to get them to jump.
That's true. Could you imagine what it looks like from the top of that thing?
No, not at all.
I died.
Not at
all.
I'm
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we also had the NHL All-Star game, NFL All-Star game, which is an absolute joke. We already kind of talked about. Did you guys tune into any of that this weekend?
No. I tuned into the Friday night the skills comp for NHL, but
Trevor Zegras is all the tweet.
Yeah. Other than that, I didn't see much of anything.
No, I watched a little bit of the Pro Bowls, like not the game itself, but like the like they had 2 guys from the AFC and the NFC.
Oh, I did watch a little bit of that.
They played Madden against each other, and it was just hilarious seeing them talk smack. And they had like a 40-yard race and dodgeball, and it was just fun seeing like on Instagram and Facebook and stuff all the videos of just like the players just being like dads, because they had all their kids there and stuff, and you just get to see them like laid back and just having fun, opposed to serious. We need to win, angry, etc. So that part was kind of fun, but the Pro Bowl game itself was horrible. It was two-hand. They might as well put flags on.
So here's a question for you guys. So obviously the NHL switched it to 3-on-3, which I think is better. Like it's much more entertaining. Do you think the NFL should switch it to like a 7v7 flag football thing? I don't know.
I mean, I don't really know the answer either. But like years ago, they used to have it after the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and I think like viewership was always up because that's kind of like, well,
people still want their football fix.
Yeah, that's the last weekend of football. But I don't know if that would change it. I don't think so, but I have no idea what they can do to help that.
I think they're just so worried about injuries and they're all beat up and their bodies are sore and tired. And I think that's, what they're doing. But I told Jay Green this earlier today. I saw a funny tweet today that said, instead of the, if you make the Pro Bowl, you get like an award. You made the Pro Bowl, yay!
I like this.
But the Pro Bowl game should be an actual competitive refereed game between the last two teams in the standings,
regulation style,
and the winner gets the first overall pick in the draft.
You're fighting for that.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
That would be unreal.
So now you're getting some competition in there.
You'd get way more people to tune into that.
The Pro Bowlers can be there because you can make it like a 4-day event, right? Pro Bowl, they can do the skills competition. You can do the throwing stuff, the catching stuff, the relay races, dodgeball, and then the last thing, Jaguars, Lions
for the number one pick.
For the number one pick, winner takes all.
Dude, that's an unreal idea.
I saw some guy tweet that, and I told Jay Green, I'm like, this could go somewhere. Let's get it.
How about Tyreek Hill at the NHL All-Star game? Did you guys see that at all?
No.
Oh man,
didn't get a single ounce of beer in him.
He was feeling pretty good though.
Well, he did the Stone Cold Steve Austin and like
with 24-ounce cans.
One was going this way, and then the other one was going this way, and nothing was hitting his mouth. He was just going.
Yeah. But I don't know.
It's
Vegas tried. They tried.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I just think football needs to figure something out because it's been getting worse every single year.
Agreed.
It hasn't been getting any better whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the thing is too is like you have like a bunch of guys that end up not going. Like it would have been cool to see Rodgers and Adams still be there too. Like, but it is what it is. Greensburg sports update. Jake.
Yeah. So girls basketball, they won 2 this past week, Dodgeville and Sauk Prairie. And then this week they finish up regular season with Baraboo and Portage at home.
So they start playoffs soon, huh?
Yeah, the 17th. So actually, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if they like do a conference championship, or I don't know if that crossover's already happened or whatnot. Maybe it already has, but boys basketball dropped a couple. They got a couple games this week too, I think 2 or 3. But boys wrestling, they won conference. They got second overall in both Badger conferences.
Wow.
So I think they're gonna put on quite a showing come playoffs, come tournament style. So Coach Bouch has always got some good wrestlers that come out individually as well. RWD, we beat Hayward in Ashland this weekend, but and then we beat Sauk at Sauk.
Are you? Is it public knowledge yet of the?
Yeah, you can. I mean,
the seating.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all on WIA.
Okay.
But
I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, we're the 4th seed in the section. Sauk's the 5th. We play Baraboo first round, and then the winner. If Sauk and us both win, we'll play each other. They
DeForest, I think I saw.
DeForest,
wasn't it DeForest? I think
something like that. But it's just not overlooking Baraboo. It's tough to beat a team 3 times, man, and a rival nonetheless. It's going to be a tough game.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you play Edgewood twice this season too, or just once?
Yep. So that would be the 3rd round.
So theoretically, you're gonna have to if you make it all the way, you'd have to beat Baraboo 3 times.
Yeah.
You'd be playing Sauk for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
And you'd be playing Edgewood for the 3rd time.
Correct.
Yeah. I know, Jeremy, you probably can't comment on this, but I think it's a joke, like how the seedings are aligned.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what made it so. I like from my perspective when I played, like that's what made it so cool. Like playing or like getting seeded in playoffs because like I think one year like we opened against Black River Falls, never played them. The one year was against Rosh's senior year was like Holman Aquinas or something like it was like a school that we never have seen.
Yeah.
My freshman year was Sparta. We played them. And
then we move on to Rapids.
Then we ended up playing them. But like,
I
don't know. Like,
they actually, Rapids. I saw that they went. I think they gotta play Hudson. Unfortunately, so the tables have turned a little bit there. But
what I don't understand is like you got like the top half of your section is all teams that have played each other all year.
I think it just kind of worked out that way this year, but
yeah,
I mean,
the bottom half is all the Madison schools that have played each other all year. So like, I don't understand why they couldn't have been.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
You know what I'm saying?
But it is what it is.
How are those? Do you go to those section meetings? I know I went with one with Rosh.
Probably on Zoom, right?
Interesting.
I've gone to all conference voting. It was on Zoom this year. It's voted on to go on Zoom. But yeah, I've met Rosh at the conference awards or voting one time in Winona Grove. But yeah, I mean, everybody submits theirs and then they go off that, and then you can challenge. I think.
Yeah, but you can only challenge one spot above you or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Something like that. And so it's just like at the same time, the way we look at it too is it'll make for some good atmospheres. It'll make for some. You don't want to lose to those. You still don't want to lose to those guys, even if you beat them twice.
And you get both of them at home, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that helps.
We'll see.
Why did it get heated like in those meetings, Matt?
No, it's just more of like it's a very it is huge politics.
It's huge politics. One, and
at least
then
the one part was that.
Two, like some coaches' perceptions of your team is complete. Like, dude, the Monroe coach that was there when we were there. Like, I remember, I forget who.
Did they not win a game or something?
Dude, they were at the bottom. They were going to be like the 12 seed or whatever. But so how you do it is you rank who you think is the 1 all the way down to 12, including yourself.
Yeah.
His order, because of his order, it screwed like Waukesha or Kettle Moraine, one of those two who was supposed to be the top, and they were. Oh no, it was Janesville. It was Janesville. Because Mauerman or whatever his name is got so pissed because he goes, I really wish coaches would do their homework before they came here.
Yep.
Janesville by far was like the 3 seed behind Kettle Moraine and Waukesha.
Did they end up as like a 6?
Well, he gave him like a freaking 11. The Monroe coach. The Monroe coach gave them 11. And they were like, I don't know, 17-6 on the year or whatever. And it bumped them down 2 spots of where they should have been. And so he was, I mean, that's the difference between having home games and not. And so, like that happens. And then obviously it's being part of the good old boys club.
Wasn't he also the coach that just was pretty much walked in and was like, we're the last seed. Like, I don't even know why I'm here.
He had the slick back hair and he wore a full suit and he was on the bench. He was the only coach on the bench and he didn't say a word the whole game. Didn't say a word. Didn't say a word to anybody. He just stood there on the bench.
Man.
But yeah, it's crazy. Some years, I mean, I went 5 years. We had ours in person all 5 years. And some years you were out of there in 45 minutes because you knew who the seeds were. And then there's some where you're just sitting there like because the 8 seed battles the 7 seed and the 7 seed wants to battle the 6 and the 6 wants to battle, and then you have to wait and each team gets to like vote and they talk about why they deserve it. And then you have to re-vote and then they recount the votes and it's crazy.
Well, that's going to do it for this week. Before we sign off, we'd also like to give a big shout out to Big Mike Lennon, who also shares a birthday with Jeremy Greenwood. So happy birthday to Big Mike as well. So
I stopped by and saw his new truck.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's very nice. Very, very nice.
Very cool.
And I think he's even going to be getting an iPhone by the end of the month.
I thought he was just going to get the new flip phone.
He decided against it.
Okay.
He's going to get an iPhone.
This is too much too fast.
I know.
He's probably better off just doing it like that, though.
Just ripping it all up.
Hey, you know what's going to be next is he's going to be driving in his Colorado with AirPods in or something.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't either.
So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for this week. We really appreciate, obviously, Dylan coming on as well. We'll have to get we got to get some of our old guests back on to catch up and stuff like that. But really appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks to the Greensburg Utility Cable Channel 11 for putting us on this week, and we'll see you guys again next time. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everybody.